Here we are, I made it. I wouldn't be me if I wasn't late. My name is Dorothy Ogdalaxton. I am going to take this off for the moment. I'm going to assure people that I did do a rapid test this morning, just to be safe. I am open live at 978 Queen Street West in States of Unknown, my exhibition. I had hoped to be able to pick up cameras and show around, but my Camlink is not cooperating at all. I am delayed starting this live stream because I had a lovely patron come in and have some really nice dialogue with me. And she bought one of my spoken word CDs. I think she likes the sound of my voice. This has 25 poems. There is trigger warning in here. And a soundscape. I completely self-produced this in December 2018. It was a combined spoken word and recording project that I decided to do in 2 weeks, literally from the day I decided to choose these titles to the final product, 30 copies, printed, burned in my living room. Was exactly 2 weeks of pretty much nonstop 16-hour days trying to figure out what I was doing because I am a Luddite. I'm not a technophobe, I'm just not a techno fan. I like nature. Most people who know me know that. I think we need to get back to nature a little bit more. I do have Instagram down here going on, and I'm going to push you guys back a little bit because I really am cutting my head off and I'm screwing up my feet otherwise. See, look what I did there. You can go back on YouTube and see later what I did there. So here I am. It would be really nice. I'm open till 7 o'clock tonight and I'm closing at 6 o'clock tomorrow. It'd be really nice to have more people come by and see what's actually going on here. Again, the show is called States of Unknown. I'm going to show you. I have in the past year been painting with oil. So I painted this and 3 small, this I call the Unknown Triskel. I was obsessed last year for some reason. I was drawing Triskels or Triskelions, that triple spiral you see in a lot of Celtic art and see it in other places too. I was writing them like lines, and then suddenly in November last year, I drew this. And I called it the Unknown Triskel. And I labeled the 3 legs, the unknown unknown, the known unknown, and the unknown known. And I think that third one, the unknown known, is something that we have to start trying to get in touch with again. Because there's a lot of stuff we inherently know if we listen, if we allow ourselves to connect to the universe. Certain questions are answered. When is now? Who is you? Why is the rub? Why are you doing what you're doing? And that's not, asking the universe why. That's what's motivating you to do what you do today. And since I have been readjusting my perception, the perception I was indoctrinated into, in the forced linear thinking, as I allow myself to contribute what value there is that comes through this tool of creation. I'm not a creator. I am a tool of creation. And if I allow what value the universe has to offer through me out, value comes back. Like that lovely lady who just came in and bought my spoken word CD. I probably could have charged her more, but I decided to, I got what I got. Anyway, so this States of Unknown that we're in, what we really need to figure out is where we're at, and that isn't necessarily physically, mentally, what it is that we're pursuing. And this is a big thing for me. This is a lot of what this, welcome to Bulgaria. This is the original. And I have made banners of a remixed version of the original I call the initial public offload. I really do have to write like a piece of paper or something. And then I have the Canadian edition 2022. Welcome to Bulgaria. And it was 4 or 5 years ago, it really dawned on me, watch Chitty Chitty Bang Bang and look at consumer culture and look at the transformation of childhood into a marketing arena and really a prison of the mind and our complete abandonment of basic child developmental psychology and psychology, like the way we've twisted the wonderful knowledge that we have of the beautiful creatures we are in order to judge ourselves and decide with our intellects rather than being in nature and with nature and trusting our connection to creation. Something that makes me sad. Anyway, so we are in states of unknown here, and I might be going around in circles because that's what I do. I said I was going to do this live stream, and I figured I'd do a little introduction to the show and me first. I am going to do some reading from my poetry, and I debated actually reading the whole essay. This is one of my bestsellers. It's an essay called Images of the Human Condition, The Cave, the Matrix, and Other Illustrations. I wrote it in 2003 for a philosophy and film class. It's a very, very relevant examination of perception, I guess, and where we're at. I think it's incredibly relevant. I decided to pull it out and print it up for my second exhibition, The Dawn of the Apocalypse, which was in September 2020. Ironically named, just as, COVID became the big thing here. During my first exhibition, which actually opened on January 22nd, 2020. And 2 weeks before that, I wrote one of my blogs. I do these wonderful things you see all over the wall here, some of these squares that have little one-liners on them I call blogs, BLAHGS. And I had written one, said, it figures my time would be the dawn of the apocalypse. My maker made me a crisis-driven person for a reason. I don't know. I like to try and be funny about it all. Sorry, Instagram, you're like seeing me from here down. And really, this is all that matters in this. What happens down here, I got to figure out what to do with Instagram here for a second. Poor guys. Poor people. We'll put you up here. Maybe that'll work. That's better. That's better balancing. I got these lovely hand flags made. We're on my YouTube channel. You've seen this before. I am human. I am human. So are you. And that's, all we really need to determine whether or not we're going to approach somebody with respect and compassion and understanding and trust. And I'm the type of person that it doesn't, like, you are a human being. What I get from you is going to be reflected in what you get from me. And so, like my wheel trans driver last night. But that's another story. Back to Images of the Human Condition. I think I will. I thought about reading you the whole essay. But I will just read you the little blurbs that I put on the back. And say, hey, why don't you come by and pick up a copy? I made 20. I'm going to keep the price. I was going to sell them for 10, but then I said 5, and I'm going to keep it at 5. So $5. Images of the Human Condition, a few thoughts, reflections on the back, The Matrix Phenomenon as a Modern-Day Book of Revelations. What are we continuously failing to realize? The truth lies within ourselves. The more that we deny that fact, the closer we become to self-destruction. Our society hinges on disordered self-consciousness, body image, wealth, material goods, rather than non-monetary values, ethics, judgments, etc. We forget that we are more than physical beings. What is worse, our version of physical existence is frighteningly unnatural. What do we accept? What do we reject? Do any of us ever really consider these choices? Are we even aware that we can choose something better, greater than the shadows on the wall? Again, it's written in December. Well, it wasn't written, it was completed in December 2003. Images of the Human Condition. I'm going to read you a couple poems from my first poetry chapbook. It has 16 poems in it. It was originally compiled to give to friends and family as an expression of my gratitude for them in my life as a recovering alcoholic. It was something I did after I went into recovery from alcoholism. And I wanted to share this part of me that I had buried for so long and felt was just a selfish indulgence that I didn't have time for. And then I decided to reprint it and start selling it when I first started allowing myself to call myself an artist in 2018. September 2018, I had my coming out of the office party as a multidisciplinary cathartist. And I officially started this journey. And I put this together in September 2018, an updated version, a couple of little edits, I think, to poems, and a new dedication at the beginning. And I am wearing a lab coat of my father's. He was a science teacher, and he was a dramatic person. He was a character and a half. He was the whole reason why I am a poet. And yet he was the one who questioned why I wanted to be a writer, which is hysterical. He used to sit me on his knee and read me The Cremation of Sam McGee, which I can still recite at least the first two stanzas of by heart. There were strange things done in the midnight sun by the men who moil for gold. Anyway, so to my father's memory, before I knew words, I was captured by verse, sat upon his knee, enchanted by his oration of tales like The Cremation of Sam McGee. I miss my dad. There was a time when I couldn't stomach idle chit-chat with him. It is amazing. We human beings, we're amazing creatures. We're deep, interesting stories. I am a storyteller. I am a story. I am often a cautionary tale. That still has value. Please don't judge me. I don't mind being an example, just so long as you get something of value out of it. I don't necessarily expect anybody to agree with opinions I form. What I do hope people do is consider the information that I convey and consider that, my perspective and my experience and my observations over a lifetime of observing our culture developed from the same place. There aren't a lot of people who spend their entire life from the same geographical location anymore, especially not in urban environments. I literally have lived within the same 30-minute walking radius for 44 to 46 of my almost 50 years of life. And Yeah, I didn't prescribe to a lot. I didn't buy into a lot of the shadows on the walls. And so there's this poem that I wanted to read that has been really striking me a lot again lately with a lot of the things that are going on in society and with things like identity politics. I'm very, very concerned about what is happening in the way that we are approaching shaping children's minds as opposed to allowing children to be children and to allowing them to develop through their developmental cycles rather than trying to push them too soon into things that they can't process. It scares me. And I wrote this poem about myself being one who suffered some really things that people just shouldn't suffer when I was very young. And it's called Epitaph. And I very much feel like it's about childhood generally in consumer society now. Close my eyes, blood red, child's dead, only head, no heart, no heart. Locked away, coffin for soul. Exhumation only proves that innocence is lost. It's really sad. I feel like we've lost a lot of innocence. Welcome to Bulgaria, right? And I'll read you this poem, Cycles, which is displayed with my one ceramic sculpture. Oh my God, would I love to do that again. I did a 10-week group at the Gardner Museum and created as a tree. It's actually 5 pieces. It is in the front window here. Feel free to come and see it. And the poem Cycles I did up on, I Mod Podged a bunch of leaves on a board and wrote it up as best as I could. And pasted it on, and it's displayed with as a tree. Cycles. Deep in the earth, flesh molts, changes, breaks down, reorganizes, generates, feeds, roots, suckle, transform, rejuvenate, build up, fibers grow, form, out to the sun. I have reverence for the cycle of life. I honestly, I don't get it. I don't get why we hang on to this so hard. As much as Marvin Minsky, who unfortunately didn't himself, believed that we will conquer death and we don't need God to do it, we're not going to do that. We are going to get checked. Humanity seriously needs to get some humility again. I'm sorry to tell you, it's pretty obvious. Yeah, we're going to start. I'm going to give you a couple from Poems of the Dawn, which is the 40 poem anthology printed on lovely cotton paper that I put together for my second exhibition, The Dawn of the Apocalypse. And I started off with this poem that I wrote back when I was in the office. It was one of those little blasts that I had to spit out, and it's called Bitter Pills. I was born with a red pill on my tongue, was force-fed the blue one. And I tried to swallow it, but it made me very, very sick. Excuse me while I spew the blue. All I see is red. I can seem irritated and intolerant and all sorts of things. It's frustration of all of these years of sort of sitting back saying, guys, stop buying in, they're making us junkies. Because consumer capitalism is institutionalized addiction. And public relations and marketing is propaganda rebranded to control us. Watch Century of the Self by Adam Curtis, and works since then. I'm stuck on that one because, it's stuff that I've been examining. Stuff I was examining 10 years before he put that out in 2002. It's a BBC documentary series called Century of the Self. It is an expose on how they usurped our intellects and grabbed us all by the amygdalas and have been dragging us around by them ever since. And they're doing the same thing to our children right from birth. And like in the 80s, they were discussing the ethics of like the fact that they literally train people how to psychologically manipulate children into brand loyalty. This is what drives our every decision these days. And really, you don't have to like what I'm saying, and you don't have to agree even, but think about it a little. Woo-shoo! To be human, sometimes we all do stupid things, knee-jerk responses, our cycles that spin, our facets that shine. Sometimes people suck, sometimes they nourish. Ain't it great to be human? I wasn't planning on reading that one, but it just happened. The book opened, the universe said, Dorothy, read this poem. So I did. And I'm going to finish off the poetry section of this live stream with a poem called To Be As Trees. This is my dream. Please, when these molecules are done here, let me feed a tree. Don't contaminate my body with crap. Just bury me in the forest or leave me out to be scavenged even. I don't mind being some rodent's meal eventually. And I know that is very disturbing to people today. And I wish there was a way that I could convey to you how beautiful a thought that is to me. You might think I'm sick, but I would rest well feeding this earth and giving back some life. To be as trees. She sat among the trees, listening to the faint whispers of their leaves. All of them, herself included, caught again, dumbfounded. She wished she could stay with them, sink her toes into the earth, reach her arms towards the sun, shelter life, clear the air. To stand with these silent souls, to those whose wisdom so few perceive, to sense their pleas, a desperate yin, to be as trees. Can I do it? Tree, I did it! Thank you. And that ends the speaking portion of this live stream. I am going to wrap it up with a little bit of music. I would like to sing to you. I'm going to start off with saying I did a spontaneous Facebook. I guess it was a kind of like this show is staging for the next incarnation of it, which will be happening June 6th to 15th here again, 978 Queen Street West. Will be States of Unknown in earnest. It did take me 4 days to install. So again, this has been more of a project in staging and curating the exhibition. So if you missed it this time, you can come and see it live when the weather's a little warmer and I can get out and busk on the sidewalk, and hopefully people won't be scared to come in because I'm not wearing a mask right now. Even though, like I said, I rapid tested this morning and I feel fine. It's just hard to sing with a mask on, and I get it. Not that I really want to go back to normal, because normal really has not been great. But getting back to maybe getting onto a path towards something that's actually more like normal. Anyway, I'm going to start off with a song that 2 weeks ago, I up and decided to pick up the guitar and play for the first time in ages. And I did record it and post it on Facebook, I think it was. And it was very strange that all happened. And later that day, somebody very close to me once, wasn't anymore, but passed. And I kind of, it's funny because I hoped he would see it. I think he would have appreciated it. It was a song I wrote, I believe it was in 1995. It's called Where I Think I Am. I may trip over it a little bit because I used to do it all in open chords. I've only since 2 weeks ago been doing this whole bar chord thing. So one of these days I will stop explaining the various ways that I can screw things up. I'm human, and I guess I'm a little overly self-conscious too. Here we go. Where I Think I Am. That's fine. May not seem like a night. It'll be better. New wine at stop singing the blues. At stop acting like a minute of fool now. Makes your life. It's me. And you can see that I'm very happy right here. I think I am. Yes, I'm quite happy right here. I think I am. There are a few things about me you can never understand. But now I am very happy right here. I think I am. I think I am. They told me how to learn. The more I set up my frustration, only you to get in trouble. Cause I'm using my head. Maybe right now, my own bed that I can't be. You can see that that's me. And I am very happy right here. Nothing kind. Yes, I'm quite happy right here. Nothing kind. There are a couple things about me you never seem to understand. What's told me about very happy right here. Nothing kind. Nothing kind. Well, it's more than I took. A love is from me. I need just seems so damn unfamiliar. So I look away. That's so you that shed some of the day of these things that I can't be. Got to make myself believe that I'm very happy right here, nothing right. Yes, I'm quite happy right here, nothing right. There are a few things about me that I could never understand. But baby, I can believe that I'm happy right here. Nothing can, nothing can, nothing can. Yeah, getting used to those bar chords. Wow, that's something. So, oh, look, I see somebody's watching me on Instagram. I have a very hard time keeping track of all of this going on here. So I'm just going to keep entertaining you, I hope. This next song I'm going to do is called Truth Is. I wrote it in 2005, 10 years later, as I was supposed to be studying for my corporate tax exams. Yeah. Just, let's put it this way. It's thought-provoking. It's called Truth Is. I gotta get this out of here. I probably won't be able to do too much of this because my shoulder, unfortunately, is not fond of the guitar hanging off my neck. And as I said at the beginning of this, I think this was a grueling process. It took me 4 days to hang this exhibition, and I can't do the things that I used to, at least not the way I used to, and sooner or later I'm not going to be able to keep doing this. So I've definitely, piled it on while I can in 2 years, 2.5 years. I'm on my fifth exhibition. From having the hardest time in the world, calling myself an artist, feeling ashamed and wrong, and like I was insulting artists by calling myself an artist, to doing this. It's a miracle. I really do actually want to thank very much the people at Workman Arts. I'm going to preemptively, hopefully, thank the OAC, because sooner or later, for this or the next installment of this, like I did for my last exhibition, which was called Waiting for the Rapture. I did actually get funding from the OAC for that, so I'm very grateful for that. It's hard to do this. It's a lot of work with no pay and a lot of faith. I guess that was the biggest thing that I've been lacking and I'm still working on, is having the faith that I put value in the world and value will be returned. That's the way it should work. I don't want to sell you anything. I have a brand. My brand name, I guess, is Dollarts, DOLARTS, dollarts.com is my website. I have been trying to construct it myself, so I apologize for anything that might be irritating. It is a hub. It has my links to my YouTube channel and to my Instagram account and to my Redbubble shop, which I just opened, which is a neat little place for artisans to put up designs, and we choose our markup. I've got it set at the default right now. I've got about 18 designs up there. A lot of my blogs, if you're familiar with them and you like any of them, and you want to walk around with a t-shirt that says emotions are not good or bad, they are powerful. You can buy that on Redbubble, on my shop. You can buy t-shirts, you can buy skirts, you can buy clocks, you can buy tote bags and duffel bags and all sorts of weird and wonderful stickers. And you can get my I Am Human is up there, my counterculture stuff, the Walking is a Right, Driving is a Privilege, and Stop signs are not optional are also signs that I have up there. Yeah, I trying to find ways to sustain myself during this without, I was overly preoccupied. Like, we all do need to be obviously preoccupied with sustaining ourselves. But it shouldn't be the be all and end all of what we do. And we should believe in the value that we give the world enough. And we should be able to believe that our value will be returned. I mean, I know an awful lot of people appreciate the things that I do, and benefit from my being open and honest and willing to speak about things that people don't necessarily want to talk about. On that note, back to Truth Is. This is the song that I wrote, like I said, while I was supposed to be studying for my corporate tax exams. You say that you are a seeker of the truth, loving the one and trying to find truth. But look at the sky and might tell me why we always seem to miss the point. You say you want the truth, but you say not to you. And besides that is the truth, they push wrong. Your words are built on lies, and synthetic paradise. And besides that is the truth, it's far from what we've got. Gazing from the window of the lecture hall. Before me, there's nothing but another wall. The sky is obscured by a solid concrete wall. And the truth is, there always will be doubts. You say you want the truth, but you say not you. And besides that is the truth, they push wrong. So what's the truth on eyes? That's another paradise. And besides that is the truth, it's far from what we've got. You say that you're a keeper of the truth, but then other than making all your rules, I think it's absurd. With lots of place to natural world and truth is, they'll find that out. You say you want the truth, but you say not you. And just like this, the truth ain't much more. Your words are built on lies, it's another paradise. And just like this, the truth is far from what we got. You say you want the truth, but it's been up to you. No, it's not. Your words are built on lies, it's another paradise. And just like this, the truth is far from what we got. The truth is far from what we've got. The truth is far from what we've got. Well then, that's what happens when I try to look at the camera and look at the camera, because I am doing this simultaneously on two different devices, on Instagram and YouTube. So I didn't want Instagram to be left out, and it was a lot easier to give the link to people on Facebook. And one of these days I might figure out simulcasting, but really honestly, I'd much rather have it be like that first show where the gallery was full of people at my opening, and I was engaging. I miss people, I really, really do. And I'm super hug deprived. I'm sure I'm not alone, but I went from being, it's been a rough 6 years for me. And that's not a sob story, it's just the truth. And I am still here. And I have my next tattoo in the works. I gotta find somebody to put that on there for me. My little story here, finally, we've got not an ending because it's going into states of unknown. Yeah. So it all started with this butterfly, which spontaneously one day I finally decided I wanted to get a butterfly. Well, actually, I knew I wanted to get this done. Now, this, the tragedy comedy is actually based on a sketch that I did of them, and I wanted to get that done. I'm completely mixing up my stories. This butterfly, I decided I wanted to get a butterfly on my wrist. Just so happened, I found out the next day. I looked up a butterfly. I did it all the same day, walked in off the street, got it done. Woke up the next morning and saw the news reports that Muhammad Ali had died. And all I could think of was, I was thinking about the fact that I wanted to get this done. And so my story is tragedy and comedy. And then I ended up with this backwards butterfly because I didn't realize that when I put up my story, it's not going to read very well. So my butterfly is backwards, and then I decided I'm going to put my butterflies flying backwards into states of unknown. Yeah, my first half of my life was very tragedy, comedy. When I'm in distress, I can be really super funny. I actually said in my improv group a couple of weeks ago, I think it was, I love doing improv. My whole life has been spontaneous, nonstop spontaneous improv comedy because it's a great way to deal with like nonstop crisis. Yeah, the secret to my success is distress. It works. I don't know. All that energy, you put it somewhere, you gotta laugh it off. Rowan Atkinson does write the script of my life, I'm sure. Hope you're getting paid well. Because it's definitely not boring. My life is not boring at all. I want to play another song for you, and then I'm going to wrap it up because I am open till 7 tonight. I close tomorrow at 6, 978 Queen Street West, States of Unknown. The accumulated works of Dorothy Ogden Laxton. Me and my guitar will be here till 6 o'clock. I have to take everything down tomorrow night and pack it up and get it out of here because a new artist will be here on Monday. Show Gallery. Wonderful space on Queen West that is donated by a Toronto retailer. He owns the building and the apartments. It's the entryway to some very lovely, tolerant tenants that don't mind us being here at all, and staffed by some lovely people who are helpful, but also know that I'm kind of a crazy control freak and they let me do what I need to do to create this for everybody. And I'm gonna end off with this. It's called Rays. Chopping in the jungle, I got it free. Up in the land of structure and the stage. They taught me how to pray. Don't think clubs of madness, or so they say. The facts to understand the way we go. God can help. Oh, he went way sun. Her hair smiles, eyes, not the only one. I know nothing in that some time ago. You break through the stars, I don't know he cried. For all that we would die. When their eyes are white man, but we long hair. Just couldn't seem to drag his tears from the fear. He said, you'd be back round again. Oh, he's gone away, flew up to the sun. Now head smiles, eyes, not the only one. Oh, the boat me a story, for you it's gone. But I feel spirits rooted in the sun. He smiles, the lift scaffold high. You said to me, my child, know who you are. You are my keeper of each star inside. I knew we could not hide. Oh, I fly away, rise up to the sun. And my smiles will erase, and we'll all be one. Now that was fun. And I have, it's 6 o'clock. Wow. So, well, thank you very much for those of you who joined me now. And thank you very much to all of you who watch in the future. This has been a pleasure sharing with you some of what I do and my show here. Again, I'm here at 978 Queen Street West, Show Gallery, in States of Unknown, till 7 o'clock tonight, from about 12:30 to 1 o'clock tomorrow till 6, and then I tear down, and I come back June 6th to 15th, and to do it all over again in earnest. It's been a blast. I will not be doing very much posting tomorrow. I am not going to do any live streaming tomorrow because, again, this one was pretty grueling. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and it's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it. There's something to be said about exerting yourself for something you love that much that you literally, like, your body says, no, wait a second, you have to stop and lie down for a while. And maybe that sounds crazy, but when you love something or someone, you're willing. Real love, real joy comes from that willingness to do whatever it takes to make it happen. And it isn't what we call comfortable necessarily, but I gotta tell you, I find it a hell of a lot more comfortable experiencing these kinds of discomforts than I do being uncomfortable, like just holding myself in, trying to not make other people uncomfortable. which is a lot of what my life has been a very futile attempt in doing. On that note, thank you very much again for joining me. I am going to go enjoy the last hour of the show today without looking at devices. I want to start looking at human beings again. Love and peace and joy to every human out there. Have a great Saturday. How do I do this? Here we go. See you later. See you later.